The beautiful north of Italy, the amazing ADRIA karting raceway. Good afternoon and welcome to round two of the 2021 WSK Euro Series. Here in the sunshine, just a week before the official start of summer in the Northern Hemisphere. We've got a beautiful day. We're ready to race the first of our four finals, starting with the OK final in just a moment. Before we do race, let's take a look at some of the highlights of what has been a sensational week here at ADRIA. Zolov, the Bulgarian Lion, was the fastest qualifier on Friday, 48 hours ago, a time of 47 dead. But he hasn't had the best run throughout the heats, and indeed in the pre-final he did not finish. He will start the final from the very last position on the grid. Arvid Lindblad, 2.04, the series leader, the driver from London in England, who dominated round one of the series. Matt Lonato also dominated the pre-final this morning. He will start on pole position in the 2.04 Kart Republic. As ever, the Ward Racing team drivers are here in force. Norton Andreasen, the super Swede from the outside of the second row of the grid. You're riding on board with the Kazakhstani ROUND2 Chapter from Nur Sultan, having his best run so far in WSK competition. As ever, it's been an amazing week here at ADRIA Karting Race, where you can see the all-new motor racing, car racing, Autodromo di ADRIA in the background, which has also been rebuilt over the last period. It's a glorious day here at ADRIA Raceway. The umbrellas from the grid girls, not for the rain as we've had in the past to start the season opener, but for the sunshine. As you look at the Red Bull Junior, the series leader on 173 points. He's also on pole position in the 2.04 Kart Republic. This is Arvid Lindblad to the left of your screen now. To the right, you can see the pole, Timek Kuharczyk, driving for the Canadian Formula One Grand Prix champion of, I'm sorry, Robert, but that's over a decade ago now. Timek, his protege, to start on the outside of the front row of the grid, looking to upset Lindblad here this afternoon. This is Matus Morgato, the 222 Biralat. Can we say it for the first time today? O menino do Brazil, the boy from Brazil. On the inside of the second row of the grid, he starts alongside Norton Andreasen in the 216 Vortex powered Tony Kart. There's Matus to the top of your screen. Had a great run in the pre-final this morning, and he will slot into second, you'd have to think, unless Timek can sweep around the outside. As you look at Mart, this is Stensone with his legendary mechanic Lorenzo Abo, about to push him into life. 232. The Lennox Racing Team, Charles Leclerc chassis. 232 out of grid 5 is Mart alongside Rafa Modenese. The Peruvian now for the Praga Racing Team, 238. Here is Rafa, now living in the north of Italy, now driving for the Czech team, starting on the outside of row 3. This is OK. This is the final. This is the second round of 3 for the 2021 championship. This is Ugo, who finished second on the podium at the first round of the series. He's second in the series on 92 points. Behind the pole sitter, Arvid Lindblad, as we take a look at the grid for you. The karts are pushed into life. Lindblad starting on pole position alongside Timek. Matus Morgato, Norton Andreas and Martini Stensone. Rafa Modenese, Ugo is alongside Rindaro. Then there's Brando Badoer on the podium at the first round of the series alongside Oscar Pedersen for the ever-present Ward Racing Team. We go to Jimmy James Wharton and Alfio Spina, Il Siciliano, who won the Junior Euro Series in 2020. Bertuga, Malek, Gracia, Nathan Sharp. Victoria, she starts alongside Frederick. Then there's Andrea. She's been in great form alongside Nikola Kuman, who set fastest lap after fastest lap in the pre-final. The intrepid of the Ukrainian Ivan Klemenko, Arnold Shabda, Tarillion, Stifter, Zhao, Valenta, Gashant, G, Nikhil Borda, and Nicola Lacorte, grid 30. We turn the page to find the fastest qualifier out of grid 31. From Sofia in the very east of Europe, Nikola Zolov with one almighty challenge. Over the remaining 20 laps, he qualified on pole position. in time qualifying on Friday with a 47.026. He has to pass 30 karts. These world-class drivers in the second round of the WSK Euro Series if he's to keep his championship hopes alive. Quickest driver on the circuit consistently, but has had no luck. All the luck, all the speed, let's not call it luck, he's just been too good. Up until this point, this is where it counts though, as you look at Arvid from pole position. T-Mac in the Kubica kart alongside as one of the Ward Racing drivers. Just runs off the road. Oscar Pedersen slotting back into position. Lindblad will be to the left of your screen. T-Mac Kuharczyk, the pole out of grid 2 to the right. Welcome to the north of Italy, an hour south of the ancient city of Venice, just off the Adriatic coast. And we've got carnage in the background. Oh, wow. 3, 4, 5 karts coming together before the start. We come up to the line and predictably go around one more time. Spina, Bertuca, Blockina, and Ricardo Gracia. They're attempting to restart. Christian Bertuca, not for the first time this week, has had to restart after an incident. He gets going, Ricardo Gracia's kart. He's trying to get it fired up. Victoria is out. What a disappointment for the 14-year-old from Moscow in Russia. Victoria Blockina has retired before the start. They crashed down into the chicane. 31 drivers, we're down to 29. Nikola Zolov's job just gets that little bit easier, but it's still an almighty task for the Bulgarian. Spina also out. Last year's WSK Euro Series champion in juniors. And Ricardo Gracia, it has not fired. Wow, before the start of the race, we've got fireworks exploding on the circuit, so to speak. Lindblad, unaware, now goes by at walking pace. We'll try again. Round 2 of the WSK Euro Series. There is the karts in the background of Gracia, Victoria, and Alfio. They're out. Lindblad from London leads up to the line, and we race. T-Mac around the outside. Can the pole try and sweep into the lead? He almost took Arvid for P1, but Lindblad has got the race under control. Great start by Matus Morgato into third place in the Birrell Art. And then Norton breathing down his neck is the super sweet for Ward Racing. Mark down the inside, and the Scandinavian drivers go side by side as Andreasen runs off the circuit. Martinez loses time, he loses a place as well on the opening lap of the race. Lindblad controls the pace from T-Mac Kuharczyk. Then it's Morgato in the Birrell Art, behind the sister kart, if we can call it that, off the pole. T-Mac Kuharczyk in the Kubica kart in P2. Lindblad across the line for the first time from Kuharczyk. Morgato. Great start from Ugo. He's in P5 right behind Norton Andreasen. Goes by Martinez Sensone. Rafa Modenese. Good start from Jimmy James, the Australian. In position 8 is the Ferrari Academy driver, ahead of Nathan Sharp, the driver from Amsterdam in the Netherlands. In the 255 Energy Kart, there he is on your screen. He's made a rocket start from grid 16 to be in P9. He's ahead of Badoea and Rintaro Sato, the two sons of the former Grand Prix drivers. Brando Badoea and Rintaro Sato in 10 and 11. At the end of the second lap of the race, as Kuharczyk sits in behind Lindblad. There's Morgato losing pace with the leaders. So finally the race settles down after a hectic start that saw Spina, Gracia, Blockina, and also Nikola Kuhlmann was involved in that, not even take the start. We'll try and keep one eye on Nikola Zolov. He's already up into position 17 from the back of the grid. He's passed, albeit 4 of them by default, but still a superb start for Zolov. He's up into 17th. Passing 12 karts already. T-Mac Kuharczyk just wants to pass one. He closes in on the back of Lindblad. The Kart Republic from the Kubica kart. There's Morgato. He's about to be attacked from the American Ugo. And Norton sits there as well in the Ward Racing Tony kart. Lindblad a little bit sideways coming onto the straight. Timek senses his opportunity. There's Ugo trying to keep his championship hopes alive in P2. In the championship, he's P4 in the race, trying to go third as Mart. Down the inside goes Martinez Stensone, takes the American, just as Ugo was trying to make up a place. Ugachuko back to P5. Behind him, Montanese, Andreas and Baduel has gone by James Wharton. The Australian driver P9 and the boy from the land of the rising sun, Rintaro Sato, rounds out the 10. Stensone down the inside and takes 2 karts on the same lap. Goes P3 by Matus Morgato, the Brazilian, off the podium. Stensone is flying here at ADRIA. Morgato back to P4. The South American leads the North American. The Norwegian now up onto the podium as Morgato runs off the road. Morgato runs off the road, jumps out of his kart, he's retired. What a disappointment for Matus Morgato. The leaders are about to go by. There's the Brazilian walking off disconsolately in the background. He's out. What a disappointment. Ugo back into P4 from Montanese. The Peruvian now in the Praga kart in P5. Lindblad just 0.2 of a second ahead of Timek Kuharczyk, and I can tell you Nikola Zoloff up into position 15 has gone purple. 47.870, the fastest driver on the circuit last time round. Here's the Bulgarian who's passed half the karts already. He's just gone by Nathan Sharp and Frederick Lund as well. Zoloff up into 13th place behind Christian Bertuga. There he is on your screen. Nathan Sharp going through in the energy kart. Zoloff from the back of the grid has passed 18 karts in the first quarter of the race. That's an outstanding drive from the fastest qualifier 48 hours ago for the Spanish DPK racing team. As now Lindblad starts to accelerate and the gap goes out to 0.3 of a second. Martinez Stensone now he matches the time set by Zoloff for 47.791. In fact, he beats it. Stensone, the fastest driver on the circuit for the Lennox racing team, goes down into turn 1 in position 3. There is Zoloff, sits in behind Christian Cannibal Bertuca, who himself has driven well after he was turned around on the roll-up laps. Christian Bertuca a place ahead of Nikola Zoloff. They've both gone by James Wharton, with Nathan Sharp behind in the energy kart. Now Kuharczyk, it's not over yet, closes back in on Lindblad. We thought the gap was starting to stretch just a little bit. Another fastest lap for Zoloff for 47.728. He's faster even than the leaders. He's 5.7 seconds off the leader with 12 karts between himself and the driver from the Queen's England who leads the race for Red Bull Junior, Arvid Lindblad. Already we're approaching half race distance in round 2 of the WSK Euro Series. As now Rintaro Sato in P7 goes purple. Sits in behind Norton Andreas and the Ricky Flynn Motorsport driver from Japan with a 47.670. So they're matching fastest lap times, these drivers out on the circuit. On a warm day here at Adria Raceway, Lindblad leads the way from Kuharczyk, desperately trying to prevent the Englishman from going 2 in a row and taking an almost unassailable lead into the final round of the 2021 WSK Euro Series. That's at Sarno in 2 weeks' time. The gap 0.3 of a second. Stensone, he's catching the both of them. 0.8 of a second between Martinez and Timek. There's Stensone, the Lennox racing team driver from Norway, following in the footsteps of the great Dennis Hauger, who took multiple WSK championship titles before going on to race with us and win the Italian F4 championship, powered by Arbath, presented by WSK Promotion. That was for the Van Amersfoort racing team in 2019. Martinez following in Dennis's footsteps. There he is, P3, closing in on the back of the pole, and the Brit in 3rd place. Down through the chicane, Lindblad clips the ripple strip, comes onto the straight. Stensone, the gap was 0.1 of a second. Let's see it now. Stays about the same. Zoloff, another fastest lap. 47.6 for the Bulgarian. who's up into position 11. What a drive. He's passed 20 karts. Zoloff, this is just remarkable. He's passed more than half the field in the first half of the race, but it gets much harder from here. Next in line, Pedersen, Baudouin, Lucas Malek will make life a lot harder for the Eastern European driver. Into the hairpin, half race distance coming up. Lindblad controlling the pace. Down through the chicane, the gap still 0.3 of a second, and maybe another 10th. 0.4 now. And Martinez, it still stays the same. So the front three, nothing between them. But neither of them, none of them, are either gaining an advantage or making one, or losing one, I should say, on the chasing driver. Lindblad still exactly the same distance ahead of Kuharczyk, Stensone, Ugo in P4 and second in the series. And Rafa Modenese P5 for the Praga racing team. Half race distance and the field spread out. The second half of the race coming up now. Let's see what Timek and Martinez have got. There's Ugo in position 4. He's losing a little bit of time as Martinez reaches down to richen up the mixture on a warm day, just to let plenty of punter fuel flow into that 125cc TM engine. There is Lund going through. Shabda, Geraji, Andrea Vibriantite, head of Bora, Tarillon, Stifter, Klemenko, Zhao, Gashons, and Valenta. Joseph Valenta, the final runner in this OK final, where we've seen the retirements of Morgato and Spina, Gracia, Blochina, and Kuman before the start. Again, the lead elasticizes, the gap elasticizes between Timek Kuharczyk. The only way to check it exactly is to check the timing screens now. Still 0.4 of a second. Nikola Zoloff goes purple. He set the fastest middle sector of the entire race. 47.339. He's gone by Pedersen. Nikola Zoloff is absolutely flying. There he is, up into P9. Next in line is Lucas Malek. What an incredible drive for Nikola Zoloff. A disastrous DNF in the pre-final this morning. Started on grid 31. Sure, he passed 4 by default when Alfio, Ricardo, Victoria, and Nicola clashed on the roll-up laps. And he's come storming through. There's another one. Nikola Zoloff now fighting with Lucas Malek, his Slovakian teammate. Also for the Spanish DPK racing team, the order to the left of your screen, Zoloff is in position 8. Still 0.4 of a second between Arvid Lindblad and Timek Kuharczyk. Another purple sector for Nikola Zoloff. Surely he'll run out of time. He's 6.2 seconds off the lead with 7 karts between himself and the race leader, Arvid Lindblad. He's driven perfectly. He won the first round of the championship at the center of the karting universe, South Garda Karting Lonato. He leads the series as it stands on 243 points. Back to Ugo, who's 4th in the race, 2nd in the series on 122. As Timek drives the wheels off the Kubica kart. There's Martinez, still P3. Now he's losing time to the leaders. If anybody is going to knock Lindblad off the top step of the podium this afternoon, surely it's the pole Timek Kuharczyk. As Zoloff takes another one, goes down and takes his teammate Lucas Malek. What an unbelievable drive from Nikola Zoloff. Goes through to position 7 from grid 31. Spectacular. The Eastern European driver has still got the final quarter of the race. Surely he can't drag himself onto the podium. That would be one almighty drive, the likes of which we have not seen in years. Lindblad still 0.4 of a second. The car flexing nicely over the couple of very light bumps here at ADRIA Raceway. Kuharczyk 0.453 of a second behind as Lindblad clips the ripple strip. The Kart Republic just rides the ripples, rides these light bumps. The Lacon tyres working superbly. Zoloff up to P7. Now he's behind Rintaro Sato for the Ricky Flynn Motorsport team. The son of the two-time Indianapolis 500 winner, Takuma Sato, winning the greatest spectacle in racing. He's not the reigning champion. He won it in 2020, 2017. His boy comes onto the straight now, Rintaro Sato, with Nikola Zoloff right behind him. Modenese just ahead in the Praga car. The rest of the field go through Bertuca, by the way, Wharton, Sharp, Lacorte. Good drive from Nicola ahead of Arnaud Chabda, Gerace, Andrea Vibreantite, Nicola Bora, and Frederick Lund in position 20. The gap still exactly 0.4 of a second, 47.247 for Nikola Zoloff up into P7, another purple lap. This has been one almighty drive from the Bulgarian, but he won't have enough time. It would need to be an endurance race for him to catch the leaders, as Arvid looks over his right shoulder nervously, you would think. The gap still 0.4 of a second. Mart still in P3 is the Norwegian. Zoloff has gone by Sato. Nicola on our timing screens. It shows an improvement, an arrow, and the number 25 behind it. He's come from grid 31 up into position 5. There he is, too far back to catch Ugochukwu, but it has been one awesome drive from the Bulgarian Lion, Nikola Zoloff. He won't catch the leaders. Lindblad looks as though he's got this under control. There's Ugo. There is Nicola. This has been the drive of the day, have no doubt about that. Where would he have finished had he have not DNF'd the pre-final? He'll have to come back in 2 weeks' time at Circuito Internazionale Napoli, Sarno, for the final round of the 2021 WSK Euro Series, which of course, once again, will be live on WSK.it. Lindblad, the penultimate lap of the race. Kuharczyk absolutely throwing everything at the Londoner. Still 0.4 of a second. Kuharczyk closes up in the middle part of the circuit. It's certainly not over yet. Driving the wheels off the Kubica cart is Tume Kuharczyk. Lindblad gets the drive. Still in the traditional racing line. Does not yet need to defend. Let's see if Arvid can hold his nerve as he comes across the line to get the last lap board. Lindblad, Kuharczyk, it's down to 0.3 of a second. Timac is catching him, but it may well be too little too late. The Red Bull Junior from the Queen's England. He's the series leader. He won the first round of the championship at Lonato. He has dominated all weekend. He won the pre-final. He leads the final. He looks over his left shoulder. Kuharczyk, he's too far back to attack. Into the right-hand sweeper. Slight correction on the wheel. The final opportunity coming up. Timac, one almighty Sandy can't do it. Lindblad goes defensive. This has been a brilliant drive. The Red Bull Junior from the Queen's England comes across the line. Arvid Lindblad goes 2 from 2. He dominates round 2 of the WSK Euro Series here at ADRIA Karting Raceway. Kuharczyk across the line in second place, just 0.2 of a second behind. And Martinius on the podium for the Lennox Racing Team in third place. So well deserved. Arvid Lindblad had it under control, had us on the edge of our seats. But Lindblad, the Swedish English driver, let's pay some respect to his father's side of the family. His father's heritage. He takes the victory though. Over Timac Kuharczyk and Martinius Stensone on the podium in third place. Ugo with fourth, will be in second in the series, but he is over 100 points behind Lindblad, who takes the victory here at ADRIA. Kuharczyk second, Martinius third, Ugo fourth here today, second in the series. Look at P5. What a drive. Nikola Zoloff, grid 31. He passes 26 karts to finish in P5. Ahead of Rafa Modenese, Sato, Malik Pedersen, and Norton. The two Swedes round out the 10. Arvid Lindblad now with an almighty lead, well over 100 points. You know my mathematics is less than 243 minus 122. Lorenzo Travisanuto, I need your mathematical skills. That's what, 121 points advantage. Lindblad. Yeah, Lorenzo's really good at maths. Lindblad, 121 points over Ugo Ugochukwu on 122. And Timek Kuharczyk in third place going into the final round of the series. That's starting off in 2 weeks' time. But it will be God Save the Queen, the national anthem of Great Britain that we'll hear on the podium here at ADRIA. Lindblad goes 2 in a row, the WSK Euro Series. It's looking good for the Red Bull Junior. The podium presentation for the OK final, live from ADRIA in just a moment. The podium for the OK final, round 2 of the WSK Euro Series. In third place from Norway for the Lennox Racing Team, it's Martinius Stensson. In second place from Poland for the Kubica Racing Team, Timek Kuharczyk. He dominated the pre-final, he dominates the final. The Red Bull Junior from the Queen's England, a worthy victor of round 2 of the WSK Euro Series. In position 1 for Kart Republic, Arvid Lindblad. The national anthem of Great Britain. The OK podium, the final. Third place, Martinius. Second place, Timek. And the winner, take those trophies, boys, Arvid Lindblad. The 60 mini final live from ADRIA in just a moment.